was on the hunt for another shampoo conditioner. They say that you shouldn't use the same one all the time. Just for whatever reason, I guess your hair gets used to it or it gets like immune to what it's supposed to do, or whatever. So I was using Folicure, and then okay. So what happened was, the whole reason I even tried this stuff was because I was using Folicure, and I know I said it didn't have sulfates, but then it turned out that it did, because the lady at Sally's told me it didn't, and I believed her, and I'm stupid because if I had read the label, I didn't know it said sulfates. And if you dye your hair, you probably know that sulfates can bleed the color from your hair. Because the sulfate is what makes everything bubble, and that bubbling action can make the color drain from your hair. And I was dyeing my hair red. And red is an extremely hard color to keep, even if you aren't using sulfates, and the red still bleeds from your hair. So every time I would wash my hair, it would come up pink. The water. I wanted to get a shampoo and conditioner that were made with for color protectant, or for dyed hair. So I tried this Ion stuff, which is a big brand at Sally's, and whiskey stuff. I tried Ion, which is a big brand at Sally's, and I don't know why so many of the color protectant products have sulfates in them. It doesn't make any sense, because if you go to a hair place, the first thing they tell you is if you have color treated hair, don't use sulfates. And every any color protectant product has sulfates in it. I don't understand, but I tried Ion, and it was almost got worse. Like, the color would just drain from my hair, and so I actually stopped dyeing my hair red, just because it was so hard for me to keep the color, and I was having to dye it all the time because the color of my roots were so different from the red that it would be really obvious when my roots would come out, and it would look awful. So then I would just have to dye it, and then so I would dye it, I would do the roots every 2 weeks or something. My hair grows pretty fast. It takes about 3 boxes of dye when I dye my hair, and so what had happened was, the whole process was that I wanted it red. I wanted it really, really red, but I didn't want to bleach it. So I just my boyfriend's sister she's a licensed cosmetologist, so she's been dyeing and cutting my hair, and I love going to her because I have this theory about, and I don't want to offend anyone, but I have this theory about hairdressers that and people with long hair probably have experienced this. If you have long hair and you go to a hairdresser and you say, I want to cut my hair, and you tell them, I only want half an inch cut, or I only want an inch cut, they cut. You walk out of there, you walked in there with hair at your hip, and you walk out with hair, at your bra strap. Like, they cut 8 inches off, and they say, oh, we have to cut off the damage, there's no way that my split ends are running up 8 inches, like, spare me, I'm not an idiot. So I stopped going to salons because that kept happening. I would grow my hair out, and then it would get chopped off, and they would give me some piss poor excuse about how they had to get all the damage off, and I'm not an idiot. I know what damaged hair looks like, and my hair wasn't that damaged. Like, it wasn't. And the thing is that the ends can only get so healthy, because if you think about it, the average amount of hair grows like half an inch every month, so that's 6 inches a year. And so if your hair is, let's say, 15 inches long, this end is 2 years. That's 2 years. It's 2 years old. That's 2-year-old hair. It's only going to get so healthy. If you're going to cut off the damage, you might as well cut it to the roots, right? It's 2 years old. It just drives me crazy that they do that. And so that's my theory, that if you have long hair, and if you go into, you go to get your hair cut, they just chop it off. They just have a thing against people with long hair. So that actually just happened to my best friend, who's had long hair her whole life, past her butt. She went in there to get her hair cut, and she went out, and it was up to here, and she was, like, crying. She's pissed. Anyway, so I go to my boyfriend's sister to get my hair cut because, she's told me the same thing too, about, that's how I know, that this part of your hair is just, it's old. It's old hair. It's not going to get any healthier. You can't. And, the whole, like, make hair healthy concept is kind of a joke, because, hair is dead protein. It's dead. It's not, you're not going to make your hair healthy. You can make it feel better. You can make it react better to certain products, but, it's not something that can be recovered or revived in some way. It's dead protein. It's only going to get as good as it gets. So, anyway. off on my tangent. What she would do is she would cut my hair, like, you know, maybe just because if you have curly hair, you can pretty much tell at the ends. You can pretty much tell if you have curly hair. Like, my hair is pretty good right now. Maybe a little bit needs a cut, but with curly hair, you can tell really well when it needs to get cut because the ends start to look all straight. You know, like this will be super curly and this will be like this. Like, it just looks bad, and so you can pretty much tell. But I have her cut my hair every 2 weeks, about half an inch, and it just, I never really get split ends. I don't really get any of that. And as a result, what she would do is so I'd go to her every 2 weeks, like clockwork, and she dyed the whole thing red, and then, you know, it was bleeding out, and then my roots would grow. And so when she dyed the whole thing, to dye all of my hair takes 3 boxes. And I use all 3 boxes till they're dry as a bone. So it takes about 3 boxes of dye. So that's 3 boxes of chemical drenching in my hair, and it's bleeding out every time I wash it. And then I would get my roots done. And then, you know, so it'd be a month since I dyed it the last time, and the sulfates were just eating the color away, and the red was just coming out. And so I'd have to, you know, every month, like, dye all of my hair, and it was just ridiculous. And I just didn't want to do that, you know, all that chemical. So I just went back to my natural color, brown, and hoping I wouldn't have to dye it as much because, you know, with the contrast between my natural brown and the brown I was dyeing, it wasn't that much, so if my roots came out, it wasn't that big of a deal. But for some reason, the red that kept coming out of my hair won't get out of my hair now, and I dyed it brown, and, like, it's clearly still pretty red. It's like when the sun hits it, it's red, red. And it just pisses me off because I stopped dyeing it red because it was, you know, I stopped dyeing it red because it kept bleeding out, and now I want to dye it brown and the red won't come out. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, um, that's my hair tangent. That's good news, right?